Welcome back to another Design League playthrough, and this one's from obsoletexeo, probably getting that wrong, but looks an interesting plot. I think we've got autumn, judging by the trees in the background, but then with a lot of boreal sort of pines and things. We've got some water and some really interesting bunkering. I think there's a lot of good stuff that I can immediately spot from the sky. So yeah, looking forward to getting into this one. So on the first, and it looks like we've got a short, yeah, super short par 4. So the question as ever is, like, why would we not go for it? It's really tough to do. I can see there's potentially riskier pins and less risky pins. Personally, don't think that bunkers are that punitive, so I'll probably go for this one. Which is a shame, like how it makes you play this. Surface colours, I'm not sure. You're light and heavier, coming from very different palettes to the fairway and green. It doesn't quite look right to me, particularly the light to heavy. Like the fairway and green look great together, but these two less so. Done a lot of buried trees out here and a lot of grasses that unfortunately, honestly, you can't really see until you zoom over them, which is kind of out of shot. I think, and I know you'll hate hearing this having spent a long time doing them, I'd probably just left them. I don't think you need them. I'm not sure they're adding that much. The buried trees on this side, it's very rocky. I'd like, if you're doing the rocky stuff, I think sculpt it up, make little outcroppings of this sort of thing. But works. It works. Well, yeah. Okay, let's have a hit and see what happens. I think I would like a bit of ground cover or something around here, or block off this side with trees. There's just, I'd love my eye to be guided to this a little bit more. You've done it well on the left hand side. And hopefully in the bunker. Oh no, we're up in the rocky stuff. Well, this has not been a good leave. I was okay with bunkers, I was not after this. Still, I think your tiers may be a little bit big, and one of the things that I'm noticing is it then gets down to the bottom and it's very flat. It's kind of like either high flat or low flat and nothing really in between. I think the more you can transition this into a gentler slope down here, there's some of it happening here, but I think right at the bottom, just going, if you're imagining looking at side on, it's going dead like this and then dead like this. Like a little bit more of a gradient at the bottom would work nicely. That's not bad considering where we were. Yeah, breaks are kind of going everywhere on this putt. You've got a low point here, which generally I think have your low points feed off the green rather than the slopes coming in here and here and here. You'll hear bits about puddling on greens, which would be one way of putting this as well. 150, so not that quick. Oh, I thought I might have that. So a nice easy short 4 to start and make an annoying par. Oh well. Okay, our second, and we've got a few bushes and bits of ground cover. I think when you're doing this, spread them out a little bit further or join these areas together. They just, it's tricky to explain because you want people to clump their planting and what you've done, but you do also want it to feel like it's not just I've planted this spot and this spot and this spot and this spot and this spot. It's kind of got to tie in together. And when you look a little bit further apart and there isn't really any other ground cover, it stands out a little bit. Same with up here. I think if you'd extended your bushes all the way around the top and had it going there, I think that would make the world of difference to how this hole looks. It doesn't look bad. And I didn't mention on your first, but I really like your bunkering style. Shapes are good. Sculpting's really good. I haven't seen an issue with those yet. So that's clearly a real strength. I don't think these sycamores fit, the dead ones. They look very, very white as trunks. I think, honestly, it's hard to make those look like they fit. Green slopes are good. I love that you've given us a way to get back to this pin, even if it's slightly dicey. Oh, missed the green, I think. Yep. Huh. and one of those weird lies that you get occasionally. That's alright. Frustrating. Good hole though, like good par 3, green site was good, just some bits on planting and like where you've done your buried trees as well, but it's, yeah, I just think the transition between where you've buried all the trees and then where you haven't is a little bit stark. Again, bunker looks great, it's sat in really nicely. I love the up and over look at this tee shot and the fact that driver might just be a bit too much. Like those sorts of holes are always fun. Oh my goodness, there's a lot of planting here, and honestly, I think you've overplanted. And one trick that I think will really help you in the longer run, like make these bushes bigger, use fewer of them, and it will look like 10 times better. The more small objects you look, the more it can look a bit messy. Whereas the bigger ones, particularly for areas like this where you don't need as much detail planting, I'm sure a ton of time has gone into planting a lot of this, and then you've unfortunately got trees and lighting in the way, meaning it's in shadow. I think the planting that you are doing is good, it's just there's too much of it, which is unfortunate. It makes it tricky to appreciate. The bunker in the fairway we haven't seen before, and it feels like a bit of a departure. I also don't think you need fairway this side of it. It's not like we're using this as a layup zone, so I'd probably not have fairway here. Same around these bunkers and this one. I think if you just had a normal fairway apron that came out and around here and maybe wrapped a bit around back and end of this green, I think this would look just a bit more cohesive with the rest of the holes you've done so far. It's a good look though, and like I think the way you've done the hole and the way you put the water makes a lot of sense. Having only been able to hit fasts, I can now only hit slows. Love it. Hey, well that's something. Okay, par 5, and it's much needed. Land's definitely getting a bit more bumpy now, which I'm not against. Bunkering again looks really good, and these sort of little stacks are tough to do. I think you could flatten this one a touch more, lower it, but it looks great. And you turn the corner and that looks really good as well. I think this is the hole I took my screenshot. Again, like a little bit less planting, opening up. If you've spent all your time planting this area, like show that view off here when you've got a chance to do it again. I'm a firm believer in using an area of planting more than once if you can. Yeah, I think same comment here on the overplanting. It's a great distance. You've got the distance absolutely perfect. I think I can carry that. And I really like that you've given us slopes that we can work off. So if I want to hedge my bets and go over to where there's a bit more of an easy carry, I might hit that slope and run down towards this pin. I think this is really well conceived, and yeah, you can see the difference where you haven't encased these bunkers in your fairway. It looks a lot better. I have just noticed though that you've on this hole you've put light rough around them a lot. I might have been missing something, but I don't recall that happening on the earlier holes. I thought it was just heavy rough. So that feels, let's see, just because I don't want to accuse you of something if I'm wrong. Yeah, so we had this sort of light rough. And same here. Suddenly going, and yeah, suddenly going to this feels, it's a departure. I'm not saying it's necessarily a bad move, but I think you'd want to be consistent across all the holes that you're doing. That's not too bad. I have to say this bunker is sculpted less well than the others I've seen. I mean, generally they've been done really well, so I'm not too worried. But nice hull, like really good hull design. There's definite risk reward, and if you don't have the longer clubs, you might struggle on that. This, in terms of style, this bunker feels a little out of place in that it's just giant, and you've done lots of these little strings, which have been working really nicely. And then this one's huge and sprawling, and we haven't really seen that before. I think again with the point on consistency, the more we do that, the better. Love the green and that you've just put it encased by fairway so that we can run the ball onto the green. Where you've put fairway makes much more sense here because it's allowing us to run the ball on. Green slopes look great. This is just a really nice looking hole. I think you've done this one well. Long approach in. From light rough, no less. Might need to go a little. But yeah, I liked this one. I like this one a lot. Holes where you go up to go like down to go up or up to go down, i.e. so you're playing with elevation in different ways on tee and approach shot, I think it automatically have a lot of interest. Oh, hit that way too hard. I mean, I don't have many other comments that I haven't made already. I still think the same thing about your buried tree texture and like underbrush, and bunker style is definitely inconsistent across the different holes you've done. Because we've got slightly less shapes that are more kind of circular, I guess. Up here, you then got the one with the fingers here, you got the sprawling one on the last. I think, which hole was it? It was this one here. And this is your best style. Like, stick with these ones. These ones looked great. And obviously vary it on different courses, but for this course I think that fitted the best. I do like the land movement and how you've gone high here and high here, because that does enclose the view a little bit more. Well, that's the worst swing I've done. Okay. I mean, in fairness, I do still have a route through. I was anticipating that was going to come out way harder left. Bunker's not a bad miss, considering where it was. Yeah, bunker sculpting behind the green, that one's a little less good as well. It's going down into the land a lot, bathtubing a bit. You'd probably want to raise the back of this. Look, really enjoyable. There's a lot of good to like about that. I think your planting is really close to being there. It's just about quantity rather than about how you're planting it. And then just like decisions on consistency would be my only other thing. But the holes were well designed. They were interesting. Really enjoyed it. So yeah, best of luck and hope the contest goes well for you.